Alright, today I'm going to do a full review of the Eachine EX4. It says it's a 4K drone, but it does 4K pictures, but only 1080p video. So that is a little misleading, but if the 1080p video looks pretty good for under 200 bucks, that wouldn't be a bad price. It is a brushless quad. Here's the motors right here with the propellers that fold in. So it folds in, the landing gear goes down or up, and then everything just folds straight in. So it makes it nice and compact, a good little travel drone. Let's go over the battery. Here's the battery for it. This one came with two that I bought, and it is a LIHV because this is 11.4 volts, 2400 milliamp battery. It has a 3-axis gimbal, which is a little unusual for these cheaper quads. Usually they're 2-axis. And it does have positioning on it. It has your ultrasonic and optical positioning. And here's for your SD card slot. See if one's in there. I have one in. And there's no obstacle avoidance or anything in the front, back, or anything. The only extra cameras you have are for positioning. And again, those are the ones at the bottom. So that's pretty much it. It's just a GPS quad. If the video looks good for under 200 bucks, that's really all we're worried about. If it flies well, maybe the range. It's not going to have that much range. It is cheaper. But if it gets out, you know, close to 1,000 meters, that's good on a cheap quad. So let's get it in here and check it out. Okay, first I want to show you the case that it came in. This is the Eachine case for the drone. Manuals are up here. It has some zippers here and a little slot. When you open it up, it has a slot here for extra batteries. The other battery I have is in the house. Here's your spare propellers and Allen keys, USB cables. I think it came with one. I put one in there. Here's your controller. Pretty much all it has is the scroll wheel, return to home. This switches your modes here, camera, video, and takeoff and landing. That's pretty much it in power. So that's it for the controller, pretty simple. Alright, and down underneath we have the battery charger and phone holder. And that goes in, open this up, and slide this in there. That's it, that'll hold your phone. Okay, here it is outside the case. We'll just open the legs, pull down the landing gear, and we're ready to go. Okay, the power button's on the back of the quad. Hold that in. Turn on the controller. Okay, so we'll hook the Wi-Fi. It's the controller. And the app is Enjoy Fly. Check. Connecting. And then start fly. So here's the main page. And it says I'm under control of the remote control. So I'll slide this in here. And we'll go through some of the settings on here. Let's see if there's anything I can change. This does my gimbal up and down. Doesn't look like I can change any of my video settings. It is what it is. You can change when your low power alarm goes off, your altitude limit. I have it set for 120. That's pretty much almost 400 feet, so that'll keep us safe. And we will leave everything else standard. Okay, we're ready to go. We have 12 satellites up there. We're in position hold. If I hold the mode button, it changes to altitude mode. Hold it again, it goes back to position. Okay, let's go ahead and take off. Okay, so this button here, up at in the middle in the top, lets you select the downward camera so you can see what's on the ground. There we go. So we don't need that. So we at least know that that's working. And that's all we'll worry about for now. Let's go ahead and test out some of the features. So this is it in position mode. And that's how fast it is. It goes pretty slow. And we'll bring it back. Horizontal speed, I think the max went to 5 meters per second. And that's good for video. So if we want, we can put in a sport mode and we'll just hold. Now we're in altitude mode and we'll go full sticks. No GPS, and then we'll bring it back. See how fast it let us go in altitude mode. Still says 5 meters per second. So let's try something else. So it looks like altitude mode just let it kept the same speed, but you're not using GPS when you do that. Now we'll go into the modes and go into track. And it's going to track you at the distance that you choose. So if I go scroll up, it should start to go up a little bit. That's your altitude. And then I can tilt it down some, my camera gimbal. And I can point it, I can pull back. It's moving back a little. Nope, it's just going to track me at that distance. Let's go ahead and bring it down. And to change the altitude, I have to go back here and scroll this down. And I'll leave it there at 7. Now go ahead and start to move. I'll tilt my gimbal wheel up towards me. There we go. Hit record on the video. And I'll start to move. See if it tracks. I see it moving. We'll go this way. It is turning where I'm going. Okay, so tracking's working. We'll go back into position. Hold the mode button. We're in position again. Let's go into orbit. So right now I'll get it over where I want it to orbit. So say I want it to orbit right here above me. And up a little. I'll hit orbit. And then I can pull back a little. And it starts to orbit, make a bigger radius whenever you pull back on the sticks. So it'll just orbit right where it is until you pull back on the stick some, and that's pretty much making your radius larger. There we go. So that's orbit mode. I'll cancel that. Go back into position. So I'm back in the position mode by holding the M button on the controller. And now I'll just fly it out a little like I normally would with most quads. And we'll check out the video quality of it. There's a bird over here. Let's see if I can get it. Okay, let's go ahead and head out. I have 80% battery left. I'm up to 50 meters. Just pushing straight out. So hopefully the video quality's coming through. I do have a clear screen. 250 meters out. So I'll just keep pushing. I'll keep my antennas pointing close to straight where the drone is. And I'll tell you when I'm not able to see it also. I'm at 360 meters out. Took my eyes off for a second, but now I see it. And it is a dot. So I am 430 meters out. I can barely see it. So a lot of people want a drone that goes out 2-3 miles, but legally you're supposed to fly line of sight. And if I'm barely looking at a dot right now, I'm really not flying line of sight. There's nothing I can do to control that quad at this distance way out there. So it being out 500 meters right now, and I think I've just about lost it. So that's about as far as I can see this little drone, and I am 600 meters out. But I'm just going to push it and see how far we make it, and see if it asks me to, if it returns home by itself. Okay, I'm 800 meters out. Should be about to lose it. I've almost lost it all the way. Let's go ahead and turn a little. My video's choppy on the screen, and I believe, but I can still see the distance climbing down here at the bottom left. So that's one good thing about this one. Like the Zino, which is a far better drone, don't get me wrong, but once you lose video, you lose control on your phone of the quad and the drone. This will at least, is still showing my distance. Now I think I lost it all the way. So let's go ahead and hit, and it's returning home. So I didn't know it's returning home. I'm not getting any indications here, but on the controller or on my phone, I can see my distance is decreasing. So I know it's coming home. So I'll just wait for it to regain video and see when that comes in. Okay, at 600, about 650 meters, my video came back in, and it is returning home. I don't have any beeping or anything like that on the quad. If I were to choose return home, then you hear the beeping, but it doesn't make the audible sound whenever it's in automatic return home. So we'll just let it come home and finish up the video. Alright, I can see my house. I'll go ahead and let it auto land and see how close it comes to the pad where it took off. Alright, before that, I'm going to go ahead and take a couple pictures. And I'll just tilt it down a little. And I'll snap the photo here. So I'll hit stop on the video. And let's see what this does when I do this. Stop the video. Holding it started the video. We'll see what pushing once. Took a picture. We'll turn this way. Take another picture. And one more. Add one more, why not? Get all angles. It does not put a flat horizon. And I believe there's something in here that said something about distortion, but it didn't stick when I did it. Maybe that's something I have to do when it's on the ground, and so I'll see if it sticks when I come down, because if I go back into it, that still stays off. Okay, let's try, since we're here, we'll try sport mode one more time. So position hold. We'll check its speed out in position hold. And we'll tilt it down a little. Full sticks forward. Again, right around 5 meters per second. We'll pull it back. And click the mode button. Now we're in altitude mode. Full sticks forward. Let's climb in. So it looks like I got up to 10 meters per second in sport mode or altitude mode. So I'll go ahead and return to home, and this time I will see how close it gets to the pad. Okay, I'll go ahead and cancel return to home. As you can see, this time I was far off. I'll go ahead and hold the return to home button. I did take off from over here, and this is where it wanted to land. But it did get in the general area, which is what we're really concerned with, is if you get into trouble, will this drone come home? Another thing that I can check is to see if, because it has the optical sensors at the bottom, and because it has the ultrasonic how does it act whenever it's going uphill and if you're low to the ground. Now, it kind of defeats the purpose of having a drone to fly low to the ground, but sometimes you can get some pretty interesting shots if you're low. So let's go ahead and get it down as low as possible and see if it actually goes up whenever it goes towards the ground. So I'm pushing full sticks forward, and I had to adjust there. So it's not sensing the ground like some drones. Not all of them do. Even a lot of the more expensive drones don't go up with the terrain. This one, let's see. If you go slow enough, it will, but just off the bat it does not. We'll bring it in front of me so you can see how this thing looks when it's flying. We'll tilt the gimbal to this way, tilt the drone that way. You can see the gimbal staying nice and steady. And here's where you can see that 3-axis gimbal at play. When I go to turn it, see how let's bring it back so you can see that again. When I turn it, see how it moves nice and smooth. So this drone has a lot of potential. For me, the worst part about it is they did not include a 4K camera. It does have a 1080p camera in it, and if it had a better camera, it would make, I guess you would pay a lot more for it, but it would be a better drone. But if the 1080p looks good enough for you, then this might be all you need. Let's go ahead and try to land on this pad. Close enough, and it shut off immediately, so that's good. So I'm down to 10% battery, so I'll put the flight time on right here on how long that took for me to get to 10%, and that's with flying it out with some distance. So I was using the motors a lot. I was not just sitting there hovering where some people do hover tests to check the time, but that's not really how you fly. What you really do is get it out there, fly it around, and check your times on there. So all in all, it's not a bad little drone. It is under 200 bucks. It does come with some pretty good features, which is the ultrasonic sensor and optical sensor at the bottom, 3-axis gimbal, brushless motors, nice and foldable with the bag. It'll go out almost 1,000 meters. It'll go out 1,000 meters if I had a wide open area. Here it almost went there, so that's good enough. You're not going to see it that far anyway. But tell me what you think of this little drone, and stay tuned. I'll do some more videos. I'm going to do a comprehensive review of the old FIMI A3, and I have some other ones coming up, and stay tuned. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.